Hi everyone, welcome to the warehouse cube, which takes the warehouse table idea one step further. It adds a second parameter, select columns. So now I can pivot a measure across two dimensions at the same time with multi-tier hierarchies on each axis. This answers the questions a flat list simply cannot. Let me show you the difference. By default, we are seeing the quantity balance by item and location. As we did in the warehouse table, I will add some hierarchical layers into the rows. I'll add more detail into the items by showing the item category level 1, item category, and then the item using the control or command keys. Afterwards, I'll expand down those levels. Now this is where the cube takes it to the next level. If I scroll along the top, you can see the numerous options to choose from, such as time periods and attributes. And just as we did with the rows, we can add a new level of hierarchy. So I'll hold Control or Command and add Zone. Now when I surface the visual menu, you'll notice a slight difference, as now you can choose the Drill On drop-down and specify rows or columns. I change it to columns and then expand down the level, and now I have the locations by zone and a 3-tier detailed view of the items in each of those. And just like the warehouse table, we have some powerful reports already created in these bookmarks at the top. Each one pairs 2 dimensions and a measure to expose a pattern a flat list can't. Let's look at some of those quickly. Slotting health puts ABC class down the rows and bin ranking across the top, counting pick lines. A items are the most picked and 10 is the best ranked bin. So quick and easily you can see if an A class mover is showing up in a low ranked bin by expanding down into the specific items, and Rim in bin 2, for example, here jumps straight out as a reslot candidate. Next, weight versus volume crosses weight utilization status in the rows against cubage utilization status in the columns by number of bins. Immediately you can see that 6 of these bins with normal weight are over capacity with cubage, and then you can drill into those and see the specific bins that need to be investigated. Another handy one here, the replenishment by location report. It puts each item down the rows and your locations across the top, with the replenishment quantity in the cells. So reading across a row, you can see at a glance which sites are running short on that item and by how much. Where a site is short and has nothing in bulk to draw from, that's your cue to move stock in from another location. Then there's the aging family, dead overstock. It lays your bins out by bin and item against how long since each was last picked and shows the overstock quantity, the units sitting above maximum. Everything on this view is over max by definition, so the metric that matters is stock that's over its limit and hasn't moved in a year or more, showing idle inventory eating up space with the exact number of units to pull out already worked out for you. Now slow moving stock puts each item down the rows against how long since it was last picked, showing the quantity on hand in each age band. Read along an item's row and you see how much of its stock is still moving versus how much has gone stale. And that last no transaction column is the one to watch, as that's a balance that has never been picked at all. Anything with most of its quantity sitting in the older bands is stock worth questioning. Money tied up in inventory that just isn't turning. And because it is self-service, you can swap the measure from quantity on hand to quantity picked over in the measures here, just like that. And then you see not just what's sitting, but how much actually moved and how recently. Capacity hotspots stacks location and zone down the rows against weight or cubage utilization status, counting bins. The near full and over capacity columns are your pressure points. A zone piling up there is a rebalance or expand target. The no capacity to find column is its own flag. Bins with no maximum set, so they can't be measured until you configure them. And because this counts bins rather than quantity, the totals are real. You can read a location's total bin count and how it splits across states straight off the bottom row. Stock adjustments put each location and reason code down the rows against the months, showing the net adjustment quantity. So you see period by period where stock is being written down or added back, and crucially, why. The reason codes tell the story: returns, repairs, damage, wrong color picks. A reason that keeps posting large negatives month after month isn't noise, it's a process issue worth chasing to its source. And finally, expiry risk. This one's for stock that carries a shelf life. Item track lots with an expiration date. It lines each item up against the month its stock expires, showing the quantity on hand in each window. Balances sitting in the near-term columns are a write-off risk that you can see months ahead. So it's time to promote them, move them, or use it before it's lost. Items without an expiration date simply fall outside this lens, so it stays focused on the stock that can actually go off. As you've seen, the Warehouse Cube turns warehouse data into a true analysis tool. Instead of asking IT for another report or exporting to Excel, you can answer new questions as they arrive, explore the data from any angle, and uncover patterns that would otherwise stay hidden. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful.